It's the JT Cho Show!
10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is a 1444 on the 10th of August, and this is the 44th episode of the JT Show. I'm your host, JT, and we are in Alaska. You can notice in my surroundings right now that I'm not usually where I usually am. I'm on vacation right now, but I wanted to come to you, the viewer, and still, provide you with content without being rude to the people that I am staying with. It's nappy nap time for Mr. Pepper and Miss Elizabeth. She's busy baking a cake. So I said, hey, while I got the hour, let's entertain the JT Show following. So, hey, what have you seen? How's Alaska? Have you seen a moose? I did see a moose. It was a smaller moose. No big antlers, just a regular moose. I was super excited though. I made him turn around. I tried to get a better picture of it, but my driver was driving aggressively. But yeah, it was really cool to see that moose. I was super excited. I haven't seen a bear yet. We're going hiking, taking a train. That's still to come this week. I'll review Alaska once my trip conducts, because it's still the early part of my trip. I'm going to be here all week. So if you're in Alaska and you're like, oh my God, I'm a super fan, well, this might be one of the only times I come to Alaska. And no, they probably don't. There's some people that I've met that are like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm trying to be famous. And they're just like, you're fucking weird. No, they're just like, good luck, man, like what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to be a comedian and I do a podcast. And they're just like, so is this guy gonna live in your basement forever? And they're just like, nah, he's just visiting. But the basement, I love Alaska though. The weather is like 65, like kind of cool, but you kind of get used to it. And I love sleeping in the cold. And they live in this very, very nice bi-level. Big fan of bi-levels. And the basement, it's just chilly. It's like, sorry if you hear the rattling. I'm wearing my Alaska coat. Gotta represent. But yeah, I like sleeping when it's cold. It's very cold in this basement. Been a nice trip. They gave me their little house tour, and then Pepper showed me a shop. He's like a carpenter now. Picked it up out of nowhere, but I did some detective work when I'm here, and I understand why he's a carpenter now. So, but he makes really good stuff. He made this amazing game table. He's all like, hey, have you seen my table? That's a huge run-on joke this week is, have you seen my table? So hashtag, have you seen this table? He's super proud of it. Looks really nice, though. I mean, I've never built a table like that before, so, got to give him props. God, he loves those compliments. So if you see Pepper, tell him he's got a really nice game table. So, I got picked up from the airport. He had to work a couple days, so I went into the town of Anchorage. Walked into a lot of shops, some tourist traps. Worked into the first shop. Now, we're following all the guidelines for shopping in Alaska, due to these restrictions. But if you don't want someone using your bathroom, then put a sign that says no public restroom, because I really had to pee. And it was the first bathroom that I saw that was clean, it was open, and I was like, hey, yeah, let's go to this bathroom. And I walked in there and locked the door and started to go to the bathroom. And the person I was with, the store lady, said, hey, you're not allowed to go to the bathroom. And she's like, I'm not. And she's like, well, who's your friend? And she's like, oh, that's just my friend. He's already going to the bathroom. And she's like, well, you're not supposed to. I'm oblivious to all of this. She gave me some weird looks, but I mean, okay, we were in a fur shop. I don't know if that gives it away, but we were inside this fur shop in Alaska. And after I saw the price of fur, which like fur is murder, but goddamn is that shit expensive. Like that purebred shit. I'm like, god damn, how much for these pair of gloves? Like, do people who the fuck has the money for this, man? This jacket, $6. I don't know where they got it. Black Market, Alaska. I don't know, but it's super warm. Like I'd say, it's chilly in this basement. Uh, but you know, somebody asked me the other day too, like, hey, how's your experience of Alaska been? But like I said, I haven't hiked up the mountain yet, so I'm super excited for that. I golfed today on Moose Creek. I got 102 first time shooting the course. Had a really bad back nine. Made some bad mistakes on 11, 12, 13. Overall, had a pretty good day though. It was beautiful weather. We made a 7:50 a.m. tee time. It was pretty rough. It wasn't too rough. Had a broad on the course. Didn't see any prominent wildlife, but it was a fun time. 4 hours. They're really strict about tee times and stuff like this. Nice course, beautiful, open to the public. You can do online uh, tee times, so you don't even have to talk to somebody, because that's like the worst part of anything, is having to call somebody just to talk to them. You're like, I just want this thing, and they're like, I know, but you have to talk to me to get it. And you're just like, all right, so what do I have to do? And they're just like, you just do it. And then you're just like, oh, thanks. And, you could have just did it in the first place. I hate those conversations so fucking much. But, yeah, Alaska, one of my favorite meals so far. Halibut, the fish. So, one of Pepper's friends caught the fish fresh in Alaska. He's storing it here, and basically we went to another person's house with the fish. They cut it up. And we had fish tacos. No pun intended, but that fish was so fresh. They fish fried it. It was like the freshest fish I've had in a long time, because Long John Silver's ain't got fresh fish, and I get Long John Silver's. And I'm one of the people who keep Long John Silver's like still open, like that secret society of people that still go Long John Silver, and people are like, who the fuck eats here? I'm one of those people that eats there, because I'm a disgusting human being. But this fish was fresh. I also had a reindeer dog, so I had a reindeer brat, spicy. Put a little bit of sauerkraut on it, a little bit of hot mustard on it, peppers. That was good. That was a good meal. And the other thing that I had that was kind of local was we went to this pita place. They not the pita place, excuse me, the crepe place. It looks like a pita. It's weird. So they make this crepe. They fold it into like this giant burrito ice cream cone looking mechanism. I didn't understand it. But I got the reindeer sausage one, but they make sweet treats too, so they do like strawberry cheesecake. But I was like Sokka in Legend of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But meat, I'm like, let's get that going. Like who else is all about meat? Oh yeah, Luffy. Okay, it's all about that meat. No pun intended. So, anywho, so those are some of like the local cuisines that I've had. But yeah, we're gonna do this coastal train. We're gonna do that mountain hike. We're probably gonna golf the other half of the 36-hole golf course. There's a lot planned coming up for this, the rest of my trip, but I still haven't experienced Alaska. But I've been, reading about things here and there. Another thing that we'll probably do is go rent bikes and do the 11-mile coastal trail, because who doesn't want to ride like a bike along some coastal trail? If you don't, then I don't really understand. But yeah, that's my trip so far. So everybody, thanks for supporting me. And then, by the way, Frank went all over Hollywood, LA. He was wearing the JT Show shirt, so I want to say thanks. Post more photos for that to follow. My roommate from college, John, he I don't want to say he outdid you, Frank, but he climbed a fucking mountain. Like, he's a rock climber. So he, climbed. I can't climb like that. But he climbed a mountain, and so he's, at the top of a fucking mountain wearing my shirt. So that's a little bit higher, Frank. Just joking. But thanks, John, for that. I'll be posting photos of that pretty soon. But, if you ever buy my merchandise and you buy something cool, something that represents the city where you're from, that kind of defines your area or you as a person, or it's a symbol of the state, or it's a symbol of it's like your town symbol, something unique, not like a McDonald's, hey, I'm in McDonald's in LA, but there's McDonald's everywhere. But that's what I'm saying. So if you ever buy my merch, just take a really sweet photo of it and be like, hey man, my shirt's being worn at this cool place. So then I know that I got fans everywhere. It's cheesy, shut the fuck up. But yeah, so I want to say thanks to them for sure. Now, I know I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but when we're done walking around town, we're exhausted, but you don't want to go to sleep because you're on vacation. You're still getting 8 hours of sleep, and you're going to bed at midnight. You're sleeping until 9, and you're like, holy shit, I got 9 hours of sleep. But there's always a little bit of downtime, so we've just been cruising through some Avatar here, The Last Airbender. Now, I know I've done this with other series before, One Piece to be more specific. And one of these days I will talk about, I'm not going to go through episode, but I will talk about why Naruto is my favorite anime of all time. That'll be coming in the future. I've got my podcast coming up with Earl, and I'm gonna say within the month. I've got, unless unforeseen circumstances happen, I've got potentially one with a local band with somebody that I know from my high school, and then we're gonna have a softball one. So there's some more guests to come, but then I don't always have a guest or a friend like Prather or Frank. I don't always have someone to talk to, and you're like, holy shit, man, this guy's gonna be talking for an hour by himself. Who the fuck is he, Bill Burr? I'm not a fucking professional. I'm like an amateur. So I always try to be like, what things do I find interesting that then I can share with you guys. So in watching these last 2 chapters at a rapid pace, and because Avatar is something that you should A, already have seen, and B, if you haven't seen it already and you don't want to see, you should still it's not a bad show. I think it's great for all ages. There's so many good messages. It's good for the psyches of the children that watch it. Okay, those little childs. Okay, and little people. Okay, not like little people, but little adults. It's good for them. There's a lot of really good life lessons in it. I'm rewatching it. I'm 30 years old, for fuck's sake. Watch the language. I've been trying to clean it up. Like Dave Portnoy, it's a children's show. This one's not. This one's I don't know. Anyways, we're going to talk about, books 1 and 2. So book 1 is Water. Water. So essentially what Avatar is, he's this little kid who was chosen to be the Avatar, who's the master of all elements, which is fire, earth, air, and water. He was at the time, he was this little kid, and I think he was maybe 12. I should have did a little bit more research, you know what I'm saying? But The monks are like, hey, shit, this guy's got to learn some shit right now because war's coming, and they're gonna send him away from his like best guy, and so he like ran away, got really scared, fell into the water, froze himself and his bison. And 100 years went by, and there's been war going on ever since. So they discover Aang in the iceberg. They explain some of his backstory. You meet two of the prominent main characters that are along the Avatar, which are Sokka and goddamn dude, Sokka and Katara. So they're basically the first two people that journey with him and his bison Appa. They also find the lemur named Momo. Then you see the first antagonists, which are Zuko and then Uncle Iroh. So Aang comes in. You know, you meet both sides. You kind of get a history of it. Aang travels to the Southern Air Temple. Some real shit happens to him. He's kind of like going through this, like, yeah, shit, I am the last airbender. Everyone that I know is dead. At least I found this lemur, which there's like really crazy conspiracy theories about that lemur. And then Zuko, on the other hand, he runs into Commander Zhao, and it's discovered that the Avatar's alive. So now he's got this like hot shot, like not banished prince, not banished member of the Fire Nation, which is trying to dominate the world, also hunting his prize because he can't restore his honor. Chapter 4, you meet the Kyoshi warriors. This is where Sokka gets a little smoochy action, you know. Katara and Aang kind of go through their first little fight. Aang realizes, like, I don't know, he realizes that, like, he doesn't need to do, like, things that puts him in unnecessary danger, I guess, and basically after meeting Aang, the Kyoshi warriors play a part later on, but that's a very prominent episode in this whole show. The Kingdom of Omashu. So he goes to Omashu, and then there's this super old king, kidnaps the Avatar and his friends, and then he puts the Avatar through three challenges, which he, does all three. And then he's like, yeah, hey man, I'm Boomy. I'm that kid that you knew 100 years ago. I'm old as fuck, but I'm the strongest earthbender here. Really good episode. Chapter 6, Imprisoned. Basically, they run into this colony of earthbenders who, if you're an earthbender, you get sent away. And, Katara meets this kid, and she has like this heart-to-heart. And the Fire Nation eventually finds out because of Katara telling him to use his powers to save somebody. So he gets sent out, the younger boy gets sent to the same camp that his dad did, because that's what happens if you earthbend, because firebenders are like, no, you get sent off to this little island. Chapter 7, and then basically Katara then gets kidnapped, and then it's a whole thing. Anyways, the Spirit World Winter Solstice Part 1 and 2, basically he learns from this one experience that he's got to go talk to the previous Avatar, which is in the Fire Nation. Very good episode. A lot happens there too. He kind of gets his second taste of the Avatar state. Really cool episode. Chapter 9, the Waterbending Scroll. Basically, they face some pirates who come and play kind of a major minor role in the end of the first season, so it's pretty important. But it deals with Sakura, not Sakura. Wow, wrong show here, idiot. It shows that Katara is getting frustrated because Aang is becoming a better waterbender at a faster pace than she is. Jet for chapter 10. I always thought Jet was a fuck. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the Freedom Fires, it's a weird episode, sends you mixed feelings, throws some really good shockers toward the end. Pretty wild episode. Good for Sokka. And by the way, Sokka in this show, man, dude, you learn to appreciate Sokka the later that you watch it. All right, chapter 11, The Great Divide. And so that one's just like, you know, a little filler. It's not that like it's not that important, and I've seen this rerun so many times. Like they got to go through this canyon, and there's canyon critters, and little white lie at the end. Who cares? I hate that episode to be real. The storm. This kind of hits Aang in the past again because he's been running away. Really good character development for Aang in that episode. The Blue Spirit is one of my favorite episodes of all time. It's episode 13 in book 1. Really, it's like the first setup for the character development for the person who's the Blue Spirit. I'm not going to blow it because we'll talk about it here in a little bit, and I don't want to give you all the spoilers first, but Aang gets kidnapped. Both Katara and Sokka are sick. Aang gets kidnapped by Zhao's troops at this crazy fort place with like the world's best archers, and the only way to restore his honor is to free the Avatar so he can then therefore later capture the Avatar, but he can't do it with his firebending. He has to have a disguise so he becomes the Blue Spirit. And his swordsmanship is fucking dope, and his mask looks raw. It's a good episode. One of my favorites for sure. The fortune teller, it's sort of funny, and then at the same time, it's got some heavy like foreshadowing in it for sure. But it's a good episode overall. You meet some characters that come back in a little bit. Chapter 15, Bato of the Water Tribe. Basically, this puts one of the big struggle between Aang and his crewmates because they've been neck and neck for a little bit, and they've been on the same path, and they haven't seen their dad in forever, and Aang's like, I'm about to lose these guys, and there's a little bit of distrust because he already thinks that he's excluded from what's going on. Really good episode, really good character development for everybody. And while this is all happening, it introduces a female character, like one of the first strange characters that you meet. There's a bunch of strange characters that always go after, and she herself isn't strange. Just like the animal she rides is strange. It's pretty cool. Chapter 16, The Deserter. You meet like the first person that potentially, because the Fire Nation is at war with the world, and even the Avatar temple that there was in the Fire Nation, there's only one dude that was friendly to the Avatar. Everybody else said, like, we don't care, we'd rather have you dead so we can conquer the rest of the world. So they thought that no one would ever be able to teach them firebending, but then the deserter from the Fire Nation, he's like a master, Aang learned that he was wrong to disagree with this sensei for a reason. He learned more about Captain Zhao because he was also taught by the same master, and the Avatar learned about his weakness and used it against him. Pretty good episode for sure. The Northern Air Temple. So Aang, on his way to the North Pole into the Northern Air Temple, sees these gliders, learns a little bit about the Fire Nation. There's like something very predominant that happens in an episode, and you have to pay attention to it. If you know what it's about, you'll see it in book 3 for sure, which we'll talk about another time. But kind of an annoying episode, but good at the same time. The Waterbending Master. So this is like the first like really good example of like empowerment, where like everyone's on an equal playing field, and I like the way that it happens, and I like how like when you go back and you watch it, Katara's like a fucking badass. Like Azula's a badass, but like Katara, you're like, holy shit, dude, she was still on that level. Because I didn't think she was like getting to that level until book 3, but she's got some killer moves, even in the end of book one. But then book two, we'll talk about some of the killer moves. But he did call her master at the end, but she's GG's, dude, for sure. So they get to the waterbending master in the North Pole. Sokka has a thing with she's the princess of the northern water tribe, Yue, and basically she was. So here's a little spoiler. People are saying that Aang was supposed to live 100 years, and the next avatar, which had to be a waterbender, was supposed to be Yue. And since Aang was still the avatar when she was born, she needed a spirit, So the moon spirit lent her some health, and she got to live because of the spirits. But she was technically supposed to be the next avatar in line. That's mind blowing. So, anyways, Sokka really has a sad time here. There's a lot that goes on. Super good battle. That's kind of like my talk through of season one, the Book of Water. Let's go through season two. If you're still with me, like, subscribe, comment. JT of Jville on Twitter. I always link my YouTube there. Hit me up at jtofjville.com. Tweet me, Instagram handle JT of Jville. I'm gonna get a little sippy poo of water. And we're gonna go on and we're gonna talk about season two. Episode 1, the Avatar State. So basically what happened at the North Pole in the book 1, Water. Book 2 is Earth, by the way. So, Aang's pretty much not mastered water, but, he's on the way. So he's got to rush to the Earth Temple. He's got to go find that Earthbender. So one of the generals learns, like, hey, when he's like this Avatar state, which whooped ass in the North, dude, we can just go kill him right now. So he's like, hey, let's learn to trigger it. And then we learn that Aang can't control it. The Cave of Two Lovers, man, if you've ever heard this song that they sing on Avatar about a tunnel, secret tunnel, then you know what this episode's all about. So we're just going to move on to it. A return to Amashu. So then they return to see Bumi because they think that Bumi is going to be Aang's teacher. And turns out he's captured by the Fire Nation. And he just gave up the city, so they helped release all the citizens. And Bumi explained some stuff and who was going to be his next guy, who's going to be the person to teach him earthbending. Now, what I did learn from an article that I read on the internet was that the person in the water, earth, fire, air, like the intro video, the waterbender from the north, he's the guy who does the waterbending. No one truly knows who the airbender is in there, but the earthbender is a dude that no one really knows who it is, and that was like originally rumored to be Aang's teacher, but they decided to go with the character that they did. So that's something that I read in an article, that shadow person that they never fully like showed their face, that's actually like the image of who's Aang's teacher was originally supposed to be for earthbending. So the swamp, Aang learns a little bit more about the spirit world because of what's going on. Learns that everything's in the swamp is connected because it's a huge single tree. It's kind of a trippy episode, but you learn some like swamp benders. It's pretty cool for sure. Predominant character comes out. He'll be in season 3 for sure. Avatar Day. So this one's pretty cool too. Aang again, he's in the Avatar state a little bit because he becomes Kyoshi. And they talk about why Kyoshi, what happened to Kyoshi, and did she kill this horrible tyrant? Good story, cool ending to this one for sure. So it's definitely a prominent episode. The Blind Bandit, holy shit, dude! This is where you meet one of the Gia's characters, one of the best benders, one of the most powerful benders in her class. Like, she's not only one of the most powerful benders, period. Like, she's the most powerful earthbender for sure. So basically, they meet this girl named Toph through this wrestling rink, and she's blind, but she's an earthbender, and she uses the vibrations in the earth to hear, to see, and she's badass at combat. So Toph reveals her power, like basically in front of her parents, like her dad watched her like whoop everyone's ass, and even the teacher was like, she's the most powerful earthbender I've ever seen. And then she decides that, hey, I'm gonna go train the Avatar. See you later. She runs away, and her parents pay some dudes to go get their daughter back. Chapter 7, Zuko leaves his uncle. They're going through like a weird thing, but you really get, some feels for Uncle Iroh. The chase for Chapter 8 in Book 2. So basically, you meet in Book 2. You meet Azula, which is the Fire Nation's. It's the Fire Nation's. God, man, I'm stupid right now. Basically, she's the sister of Zuko, but she's not banished. And the Fire Lord has sent her to not only get her brother and her uncle, who are traitors now, but she starts going after the Avatar. She's relentlessly chasing them, and then it turns out that they're just following Appa's spur. They figure it out at the end, and at the end of the episode, Uncle's severely wounded for the first time. Chapter 9, Aang begins earthbending. Pretty cool episode. How he finally stands his ground. The library. That's another that's a classic Avatar episode. It's a meme that comes from it. Nice. First edition, very nice. There's a meme that comes from that episode. It's a very, very good episode. The desert, right in the fields. Chapter 10, the library sets up the fields, and Chapter 11 hits you right in the fields. And Zuko's just mad tripping in episode 11. Episode 12, The Serpent's Past. Really cool episode. You see some really good bending in that episode. Chapter 13, The Drill. Again, Azula, she's coming back. No one's ever penetrated the wall. She thinks she's created this machine to finally do it. But Sokka, dude, you gotta give that motherfucker some more credit. 14, The Wall Secrets. There's no war in Ba Sing Se. A lot goes on, dude. This crazy conspiracy that this secret service of the government actually controls the king, and they control and dictate everything, and they've been keeping the king on the hush hush, and they don't even know there's a war. There's no war in Ba Sing Se. The Tales of Ba Sing Se. There's Aang helps a zookeeper. Zuko goes on a date. There's so many things that happens for individual character development. It's a really cool episode. There's the thing with Momo too. 16 is Appa's Lost Days. Pretty sad, but then you're like, yeah, because you learn more about where he's been, because it's been hit right in the fields, Really cool episode though, because it's Appa, it's about his buffalo, that's crazy. The whole episode is, but dude, Appa's the best. Okay, he's the best. Lake Logai, Chapter 17. This is when I didn't realize, but Jet really does get some great character redemption for sure. He had honest intentions. It sucks. He's dead. Toph says one of the saddest things ever. But yeah, it's a really good chapter. They finally meet the Earth King. He's even holy shit, couldn't believe that. Chapter 19, so basically, Aang finally breaks through, talks about Long Fang being a traitor. There's all this crazy stuff going on. The Guru, there's this dude who actually tied a note to Appa's horn for the Avatar to come see him to help him unlock the Avatar state. So, Aang finally, learns the steps, but he like denies one for a reason because he can't let his loved ones go, which builds us up to the chapter 20, the Crossroads of Destiny. And I'm trying to like do all these spoilers, and I'm not trying to talk about every little detail, but let's just talk about the ending here. So you've got, you thought that Prince Zuko, you thought, hey, this guy's finally turned for the good. Decides, hey, I'd rather get my honor back in a life that someone's already pre-designed me to do, and his uncles just be like, look in your heart and do what's right. And there's so much crazy shit happening at the end, and everyone's surrounded by by a Dai Li, and you've got Azula and Zuko, and then he's just like, I gotta let Katara go, dude. I gotta enter the Avatar state. If she might die, but that's the only way that we're gonna make it out of this. So he lets her go. Right when he rises up, because everyone's like, oh fuck, he's about to fuck us up, dude. Fucking Azula's like, lightning, bitch, and she hits him right in the back, dude. And there's like this prominent fucking wham bam, thank you ma'am, right in his back, and you're just like, this is how. And like, holy shit, so he's man down, dude, fucking man down, bringing the choppers, dude. We need an air vac stat, okay? So you're like, dude, they need to get the fuck out of here. Who comes to the rescue? Old fucking Uncle Iroh, which, by the way, I know I've seen the series, but this last episode sets this motherfucker up to become like the G's of G's, because he's about to get ripped city. He's gonna be called Daddy if like not queens watch this. They're like, wow, Uncle Iroh is Daddy. Okay, Uncle Iroh is Daddy, but they're gonna say that because man, he becomes fucking jacked. He's fucking jacked. But I love his character development for sure. I can't wait to finish season book 3, Fire, for sure. And then Legend of Korra comes out, which I've never actually seen. So I'm not going to break down every episode, but I will talk about how I feel about that series once I complete it. I've got tons of other projects that I'm doing. Editing video takes time. There's so much fucking time. It's like one day I hope I get sponsored, rich and famous, so I can just edit videos, play video games, entertain you guys. But I understand this is going to be another short podcast, but hey, I'm on vacation. Cut me some slack, okay? I'm going to try to do one more of these, hopefully make it an hour. But if I don't, motherfucker, it's because I'm on vacation, okay? So, again, if you watch it all the way through, super appreciate it. Big shout out to my friends that keep wearing my shirts everywhere. Just send me photos of where you wore it on vacation. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, make fake accounts. I'm not paying for them, but if you just want to make them and then like mine, that'd be great. Just make like 1 million, and then I'll start being inputted into people's shits, because that's what YouTube does. Like, hey, this is good garbage. I'm bad garbage right now, but if I had viewers, it'd be like good garbage. So good for business. But anyways, I appreciate to anybody that always listens. Thank you so much for listening, for buying my shirts, just for telling me, hey, this and that, giving me ideas. There's lots of that I want to talk about, but right now, all I keep thinking about is, hey, man, we got to plan this train ride, and then we're going to go over and eat some food with some friends, I guess. But anyways, again, like, subscribe, all that jazz. JTFJville.com, JTFJville on Twitter, all that JTFJville on Instagram. Hit me up. Captain's Log. Peace.